Hello and welcome back to the Pixel Street Podcast. This is episode 238 of the show. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joel Campos, and joining me is the man who might have a Kirby sticker coming in the mail to him tomorrow, John Hanson.
Oh, a Kirby sticker, you say?
Yeah,
This
I
is
sent
news to
you some
me.
stuff. I sent you some stuff in the mail that you had asked for, and I included some stickers. So
Yeah. Yeah, so you wanna talk about that quick? Because I had you, 3D print me some Pokemon statues for my daughter who just turned 11 yesterday.
I did. I 3D printed them, and So some of them came out weird. Like you'll see there's like
Yeah.
some frizzles on it, but I mean it's fine. But yeah, and then I painted them with like a primer so that it's easy to paint with some acrylic paints. I think there was 5 total that I sent. I hope that none of them break. I put a bunch of like magazine paper in there in
Yeah.
hopes that it doesn't break, but 1 or 2 of them so the Mew that I printed, the tail is just like a long skinny like S curve. That's the
Yeah, I
one
could
I
see why
think
that would
might
break.
break.
That's fine.
But yeah,
Not
should
a
be
big
there
deal.
tomorrow.
The important ones for her, she's a huge Umbreon fan. She loves all the evolutions, but, Umbreon is her favorite, so I'd say that was the most important one.
Trying to remember all that I printed. I printed an Eevee, an Umbreon, a Pikachu, a Mew.
Charmander, I think, was one we were looking at.
I don't know if I did Charmander. Hold on, let me look at which ones I downloaded. Mew. Oh, Vulpix was the other one.
Vulpix, that was right, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the ones I sent.
Nah, it's all good. And I appreciate that. I don't have a 3D printer. I never will. I probably will never know how to run a 3D printer.
They're cool, man. It's
Yeah,
addicting. It's annoying.
I bet.
Yeah, I'm excited to keep 3D printing my table. I've posted updates to that in our Discord in the past, and I just kind of stopped printing it
Hmm.
because I had a few failed prints. So like some of the parts of that, the biggest parts are like 1 foot by 1 foot squares, and they were failing like 24 hours into the print. And like that's so discouraging when you have something going for a day and everything's fine and then it just fails. It failed like that a few times, so it kind of discouraged me and stopped. But anyway, if you want to see 3D prints and stuff, go check out our Discord server. I post stuff from time to time. You can find the pinned tweet on our Twitter account at Pixel Street, and from there you can find a link to our Discord to join.
And you
Yeah,
could join in on our live chat while we stream on Thursdays more often now, like Brandon Addison, who just asked if I shaved, and no, it just all fell out. What can I say? It finally said, I'm out of here, and just jumped out.
all gone.
Yep.
No more.
What are we talking about today, Joel?
Today we're going to talk about Twisted Metal, John, and I have a confession. I only watched 1 episode,
Okay.
and I kind of like it. Like I'm excited to watch more. I just haven't really had time.
Yeah, I get it. I'm only 4 episodes in, so that's why we're giving our impressions, not a full review.
Yeah, but I mean, so far, I think it's a really good show for a twisted like when they first pitched here, we're gonna come out with a Twisted Metal TV show. I think initial impression was like, what the fuck could this even be about, right?
Yeah,
Like Twisted Metal is just like a car shooting game, more or less.
it was really hard to really visualize what they were gonna do with the series because the Twisted Metal I know died in the '90s because the PS1 games are all I know. I've played a little bit of Black. I haven't really played the PS3 game, but I think the PS3 game is the last one that ever came out in like 2007, 2008, something like that. This series has been untouched for a long time. So when you hear, oh, we're making a live action series for this, and it's starring Anthony Mackie, Falcon from the MCU, and you're like, that's an interesting decision. And then you hear it's like our favorite thing with Mortal Kombat. The protagonist is a completely new character. His name is John Doe. You don't know this guy from any of the games. It's like, man, I don't know about that.
Except
But
for it worked out in the for the better, I think.
that is what I was just about to say. I really like John Doe in this series. Um, he's funny. He's always got something to say, and that's like a laughing. That's like a returning gag every now and then. It's just people kind of silly being like, "Do you ever shut up?" But he's always got something to say.
He loves his
He
Jordans. He loves the
he
Jordan shoes.
he loves the Jordans. There's definitely like there's also like a emotional core at the bottom of his character too, from what I've seen in 4 episodes. It's like because everyone else is just like, okay, we're gonna kill you. All right, we're killing them. We're killing them. We're killing all these people, and it's gory and everything. John Doe's like, man, I'm doing this so I can have my own place where I can be
Have a
safe.
life.
Like in the most recent episode I watched, he was explaining this to Quiet, who's played by the girl from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know her name.
I forget her name as well.
Uh, I think her character's name in that show is Rosa. Maybe it's just Rose. I'm not sure.
I'll
Um,
look up her name.
but he was saying he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be the first ever milkman, a delivery guy. I'm gonna be the first ever one to live to an old age and die boring. And it's just like, okay, yeah, that's like something he's going for. It's not like Mortal Kombat where it's just like, yeah, I'm a fighter, so I'm getting into this Mortal Kombat tournament. It's just like, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
they really made it have a purpose, right? With the story, right? It's like it's a
hmm
post-apocalyptic world, and he is set on a mission to deliver something from San Francisco to Chicago, in order to have a safe living situation where he's not always on the road, pretty much. Because every like at the very beginning of the show, he pulls up somewhere, right? And he's like, "Can I come in?" Like jokingly, like into your city, and they're just like, "Haha, no way, man!" Like
yeah.
that shows how sacred these like civilizations are in this show.
Well, yeah, the whole premise is that 20 years ago the world went to shit, like all electronics went out. There was a beginning of one of the episodes that I watched where it like shows how there's like planes falling out of the air, everything's just going out and people are losing their mind. um it and then they say it's like once this happened all the big cities built walls around their city. all uh all lawbreakers were left outside to fend for themselves, essentially. So the wastelands, whatever you want to call it, the outside is just all free game. You can do whatever you want, but the insides are like actual civilized places. But we see that, like any show really that has some kind of government, the head of the San Francisco area where he wants to live is led by a very corrupt politician. So I don't know how that goes yet. I think there's 10 total episodes, so I'm almost
Yeah, I
halfway
think so.
through. But yeah, I'm very impressed with the show so far. I love Twisted Metal, those original PS1 games, and I was not expecting much from this series at all, but I've been pleasantly surprised. It genuinely is pretty funny too. Like I've laughed at multiple points.
Yeah, I think one of the things I like the most is that every episode is 30 minutes, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not like a crazy long show.
hmm
Because I feel like if these were like 45-minute episodes, it would kind of drag on a bit too much, and I don't think I would
Yeah.
like it as much.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel bloated or anything. It does what it wants to do and then it's out. So yeah,
Seeing
I would
this is
say
like us enjoying this for what it is like very promising for what Sony's doing with their whole like movie and TV like
yeah.
brand that they started a few years ago.
I think we always knew that The Last of Us was going to be a hit because how could it not be? But them nailing Twisted Metal, which is a series like I said that hasn't been touched in over a decade, like that's very impressive that they got this right.
Especially because like there's no twist, like you said, a decade at least without a game, and for them just to drop
Mhm.
a show with that franchise in it to be like fairly well received, I think. I don't think I've really seen anybody shit on this show, like completely shit on it, right? I think everybody's all pretty mediocre on like how it is, which is like better than most people expected this show to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's don't go in expecting like a storytelling masterclass like The Last of Us was, but man, this is really enjoyable. I did think that so the very first scene has John Doe running away from these people in a mall. He's like driving around, and it's really cool. I thought it was a little on the nose. I like within the first 5 minutes of the show, they throw in a Twisted Metal PS1 case
Yeah.
on his thing.
I
I'm like,
mean,
okay,
I'm
that
glad
was a
they
bit
did it.
much.
I'm glad they did it then and not like, I don't know, later in the show. Just get it over
Yeah,
with right away.
I guess I was just like, wow, that's really on the nose there.
Yeah. It
But
was like one of those it was like one of those tall PS1 cases too. It
mhm.
wasn't like the square one. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, no, that those were how the PS1 cases came at that time when the first one came out. So
Yeah. Well, overall it's a good show. We should definitely talk about it more once we both finish it. Maybe I'll finish it this weekend.
I
Um
probably won't because I have my daughter.
oh, gotcha. Moving on, Assassin's Creed Codename J gameplay has leaked. I have not seen this yet. Tell me about it, John.
All right, so this is the mobile Assassin's Creed game that's been on the way. We haven't seen anything about it so far, but with this gameplay, we have some uh, details. It's set in ancient China. This is the first Assassin's Creed game where you can create your own protagonist. Uh, from the gameplay, we see that it has touch controls. We haven't seen any indication of controller support. So yeah,
I'm sure there's controller support with like the backbone and the Razor Kishi being so popular.
I I would hope so. I want to say I could be wrong about this. I want to say the Rainbow Six Siege mobile game didn't have it. I could be wrong though.
I think that could be because it's a competitive game online
Yeah, yeah,
because like they want everybody to be on the same playing field for something like that where this is much more single player focused. So,
yeah. Well, at least as we know now. Um, but yeah, it looks good as you can see from the gameplay in our stream here. There's icons all over the place because of the touchscreen stuff, but it looks pretty good. The game's in beta right now, and it looks like it's running well, and it looks graphically it looks good for a mobile game. My
yeah.
question though, Joel, is do you want to play a full Assassin's Creed game mobile?
I mean, I'll probably try it out. It's so if
Let's
it's
say
only
this.
if it's only touch control, John, I won't touch this game. Because, like, let's
Yeah,
be honest, touch controls on games like this just it doesn't play well because I want to be looking at the action of the game, not figuring out where my thumb needs to touch the screen to like swing my sword or heal myself, stuff like that. A game like this, I want to be able to look at and not look down at my fingers. You know what I mean?
well, I mean, my thing is just your fingers get in the way, like
Yeah,
they're covering
it
the
covers the
screen.
screen. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I do wonder though, like, what is the pricing on this game? Because if it is just a single player game, I highly doubt that it's a free to play game. So it's probably going to cost what, $10? I don't know if I want to put out $10 for that.
I
ten
think I
dollars.
would pay 10 I think I would pay $10 for something like this. But it also depends like you said, mobile games are it's such a hard space to get into if you're
Mm-hmm.
not going like the free to play battle pass, gotcha game route. And like I
Right.
don't know how that would translate into like an Assassin's Creed game that looks like every other Assassin's Creed game that we've been getting. I don't know
Yeah.
how you monetize that and make it a free to play model.
And that's also the thing. If it is just a single player game, we saw with Shadows of War, that single player game tried to work in like cosmetic microtransactions. I don't think.
What
Uh,
is Shadows of War? Is that the Lord of the Rings game?
yeah, it was the
The
sequel to
sequel? I never
Shadow of
played the
Mordor.
sequel.
Yeah, so they put in transactions, even microtransactions, even though it was a single player only game, and people flipped out. With this being a mobile game, Ubisoft might be able to get away with that because I mean, everyone knows that the mobile market is just fucked with
It's
microtransactions.
completely different than like
Yeah,
console gaming or PC gaming.
yeah. But on the other hand, Assassin's Creed is very much a core gaming franchise. Like the the random person that's playing what's it called? Candy something. The
Candy Crush?
Candy Crush. The random middle aged woman playing that isn't downloading this game. So it's like only the people that care about the series are really going to try and download this. And if they see those microtransactions, they're not going to be happy.
Yeah, yeah. Again, I have no idea. Like, I'm curious, like, how long is the story in this game, right? Like, is it gonna
Hmm.
be a 10-hour game? Is it gonna be a 5-hour story? Like, I'm talking like if you just mainline the story, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like, I don't know. I don't know how they charge any more than $10 for a mobile game. It, and like, imagine if this game comes out on mobile and they're like, all right, $40 and you get to play this Assassin's Creed game. It's like, what
no
the
one's
fuck are you
touching
guys
it.
doing?
No one
Yeah.
is touching it. Yeah, yeah. It's really a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I don't think there's a situation where everyone is happy with this release,
That
like
being said, I'd be
regardless of
curious
how
to
good
see
it
if
is.
if this comes to Switch in the future, because like this looks like it'd be fun to play on the Switch.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah,
Touch controls
um,
suck, John. I don't
they
want
do.
touch controls.
Yep. Mobile gaming just in general kind of sucks for this kind of game, I think. All right, let's move on to quick news here. Resident Evil 2 Remake is now the best selling RE game ever, passing Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Eh, Good job. Uh, I'm sure there's some people who are like, oh, great, a remake took over the spot, but it's legitimately one of the best Resident Evil games ever. So Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 will soon notify lobbies when a cheater has been removed. I think the tweet said that that is coming alongside the new season. So cool, I guess. Then the Switch 2 is expected to release in the second half of 2024. Metroid Prime 4 is still listed for the original Switch, although they didn't give it a release date yet. But they kind of did this
Yeah,
thing. Nintendo every now and then will do this thing where they like remind you release dates of their upcoming games, and they did that, and they put Metroid Prime 4 in there, and they're like, TBA. So I am expecting to see some kind of Metroid Prime 4 announcement at the next Nintendo Direct. But saying that, I also expected it at like the last three Nintendo
yeah.
Directs. So
Everybody did.
yeah. Tears of the Kingdom has sold more than 18.5 million copies as of the end of June, so it's even higher now. I would be surprised if it's not at 20 yet. Also, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe got a nice bump after the Mario movie came out, and it has now sold over 55 million copies. That is insane. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe became like the highest selling racing game ever when it was at like 30 million or something like that. And now it's at 55. Like that's insane. I don't
Yeah,
think
that's wild.
we'll never see a racing game get close to this, I don't think. Vampire Survivors is getting a director's cut. It features a whole bunch of new playable characters, and it's pretty much said that it's a very different version of the game. Not sure what that means. Hasn't been confirmed. This is all leaks, but let's see. Alien is coming to Dead by Daylight.
I saw that.
They showed off the spaceship. I've never seen Alien. I don't know the name of it. I think it's Nostradamus. Is
I
that the
don't
name
know
of
his
the ship?
name. Oh, I don't know the
But
ship's name either.
gotcha. And then they showed the actual alien, the xenomorph, I believe is what it's called. I'm sure Ripley is going to be one of the survivors, and then I don't know, throw in one of the other people. And then last up here on quick news, Final Fantasy XIV is coming to Xbox, and Square Enix promises to bring the other games in the series whenever possible. Meaning, hey, we're still under contract with Sony. We can't release them here yet, but they're going to come at some point. Although
Yeah,
not having any word on Final Fantasy VII remake is a bit odd because that one only had like a year exclusivity window, and they didn't even talk about that at all.
but it could, again, it could have just been a 1 year place. Like, it could have been a longer exclusivity window for consoles. You know what I mean? Like, after 1 year, they can release it on PC, which they did. Maybe they just have an exclusive deal with Sony for longer.
Maybe
It's very weird. Doesn't make sense to me.
Sony being shitty.
That's the only explanation I can think of, because like if they came out with that game on Xbox, like you'd have to imagine it would do fairly well. Like it'd give them a big bump, right? Like
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Final Fantasy 14 though. I've always wanted to play
Yeah.
that game. I'm curious how it works. Like if I started playing now on PC because it's not coming to Xbox until 2024.
Hmm.
Um, I'm curious if I start playing now on PC if I can kind of swap back and
If
forth
there's cross
because
save.
yeah, I imagine there is because most MMOs like your account is what links your characters. But yeah, I don't know. I like
I
MMOs and I've never played this one, so I'd be excited to try it out. I hear good things about it.
um just from a quick Google search, it does look like PS4 and PC have cross save, so I would imagine that the Xbox version would get it as well. Uh, I think I saw someone talking about it, saying that you could like play and get your character up to like level 70 or 80 for free before you have to like start paying the subscription, I think they do.
Ooh,
So that's pretty cool. It definitely gives you enough time to be like, oh yeah, I really love this game like so many other people do.
maybe I'll try it out.
Yep.
I
All
did
right.
play. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I did play on the 360 Final Fantasy 11, which was their other MMO.
Hmm.
I think I still have the disc for that. That game was such a fucking headache to install, John. It was like I had to put the disc in my Xbox and then it would download and it would take like internet back then was so bad and like it was downloading the whole game onto my three oh god, it was just such a headache. And then at times the disc wouldn't work to download it if I because like I remember one time I tried re-downloading it. Oh my god. Such
It
a
was
headache.
I do remember uh, installing giant games that were just too big for the 360, like Grand Theft Auto 5, like when that first came out, and you had to put in the installation disk and just wait for a good 2 hours before it was ready. Uh, those were days, all right. Okay, Joel, you got any collectibles to show off? Because I do not.
I do. I do have a
I'm
few.
broke
Hold
as
up.
a joke. I am broke as a joke. I'll show off his statues when they come in.
I got a nice little haul in the mail today. So
Ooh.
I was on Whatnot the other day. Have you ever seen that?
No, what is it?
So it's an app where people stream. So it works like eBay, where like they'll put so like, but they're streaming. So it's just like people like you and me. Say you buy like a shit ton of video games and you want to sell them individually, or you can sell lots on there if you want. You would just like say like, for instance, here this game right here. I don't even know what the fuck this is. Miguel Mansell IndyCar Racing for the Sega Genesis, right? You'd pop it up on the screen and be like, all right, we're selling this game. Starting bid $1. And then people bid on it, and then it counts down from a minute or whatever. And then whoever wins it, it's like eBay, you win it. And like most streams, it's like you pay like $8 shipping max. So like if you buy a bunch of stuff, you're only paying $8 total in shipping. Um, and I was on there the other day, just like watching a retro game sale, because I saw like in the pictures, like, oh, they have Pokemon games, like Game Boy Color games. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll go watch and like bid on a Pokemon game if I can get a good deal on it. I didn't end up getting any Pokemon games, but they brought up at one
But you,
point,
but you did get Miguel on cell indie
yeah,
racing.
Miguel
So
Mansell IndyCar Racing for the Sega Genesis. No, so at one point they brought up on the screen, it was like, all right, here's a Game Boy Advance, right? Which is this one that I got. Game Boy Advance. It's black. It's pretty cool looking. I don't own a
mhm.
Game Boy Advance. I have a Game Boy Advance SP. I have a Nintendo D. I have many ways to play Game Boy Advance games.
You have an
But I was
analog
like,
pocket, the best
yeah,
way to play Game Boy Advance games.
exactly. But I was like, like I like collecting retro consoles, and it was like $20 was the starting bid. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like I'll bid $20. And then like it got bid up to like 35, and then the guy's like, you know what? Whoever wins this, I'm also gonna throw in this Sega Genesis console. So for $40, I got this Game Boy Advance, a Sega Genesis console.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Here, let me see the Genesis again. Is that it looked like the original model.
it's not the OG. It's
No,
like
okay,
the
no, that is not.
second one. I
Yeah, that's
prefer the look of the OG one, personally,
Yeah, it's
but
got
I
that
mean,
knob that doesn't do anything.
yeah, yeah. I think the knob is for volume on that, isn't it? Because there's a headphone port in the
I
front.
yeah,
But
I wanna say it's headphone volume
yeah, I
because
don't own
everyone is
a
plugging in their headphones to play their home console.
yeah, I didn't own a Sega Genesis, so I was like, all right, like 2 for 1, right? I want to collect
Yeah,
them all.
that's not bad.
Um, and then so I also got like 4 games, that IndyCar racing, a 6-pack,
I had that.
which
It's got a good collection of
yeah,
games.
which this has Sonic the Hedgehog, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Revenge of Shinobi, Columns, and Super Hang On, which like that's an awesome have.
Those are very
Um,
good, games. I love playing Golden Axe on there.
and then I don't know what this game is, but this game's called Combat Cars. It looks very Twisted Metal esque. And then Road Rash 2, which I love the Road Rash games. And then the Game Boy Advance came with, which is pretty funny, a sealed copy of the Game Boy Advance video, Nicktoons Collection Volume 2. Do you remember
Oh,
these
man.
things? Do you remember these
Yeah.
guys? Look at
Yeah,
that. This thing
they
is
have
sealed, baby. Sealed.
how how could the previous owner go without opening that? That is a
Yeah.
gem right there.
Yeah. And then I want a giveaway. I kept watching the stream and I want a giveaway in the streams. Because
Oh,
like sometimes they'll throw a game up for giveaway just to get views and stuff. And I won the what the fuck is this? X3 the official game for GameCube, baby. Let's go.
I would make fun of you, but you legitimately got 2 consoles for a pretty good
For
price.
$40. Like, are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
I'm not even gonna mince words with you, Joel. Those games, besides Six Pack, all look like trash.
Oh yeah, no. Without a doubt. I probably wouldn't play any of those. And then so and then today I was thinking, I was like, fuck, like I have all these consoles and like no way to play them on my big TV.
Mhm.
Like literally impossible. Like if you plug the 3 color things into the back, it just doesn't work just because incompatible, like old ass consoles with a brand new TV. Um so I ordered like a Switch, which is like an RGB switch. I can plug 8 consoles into it and it has
Mhm.
one output. And then I'm doing research right now on like there's a thing called a retro tink, which upscales it to like 1080p. Um, and I don't know if I want to do that because it's like $300 for that thing. Um, but there's also a thing called an OSSC, which doesn't technically upscale it, but it looks a lot better. And that's only like $150. So I don't know. And then Retro Tink just announced that they're coming out with a 4K version of it, but that's going to be super expensive, and I don't know if I want to do that. But I'm gonna try and set up all my consoles to one TV so that I can just like press a button, switch to a different console. I think
I
it'd
get
be
that.
really cool because I have all my consoles just like sitting in these bins over here.
Mine are in a box upstairs. Yeah, I've got a while ago. I bought these upscales for my GameCube and my N64 that are really nice. I want to say they were like $150 a piece to buy, but they were really worth it. Like it just makes it simple. It's an HDMI output thing that you just plug into your TV, and it's like so good quality. So
Yeah, the
I,
the OSSC thing I was looking at is like you just plug in the composite cables and then it has an HDMI output.
mhm.
So it'd be pretty simple and like not crazy expensive just to have something to play on my TV. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to set it all up.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So let's get on to what we've been playing. I'll start off here. I've been playing a bit of Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. This is a game that originally released on the Nintendo DS, but this year it got a remaster on current consoles. And this is a game I always wanted to play, and I'm very happy that I get to now. So in this game, you play as a guy named Sissel, and before the game even starts, he's been killed. He's been shot. He's dead, but he has these like spirit powers that he can overtake these physical objects and mess with them to like save people from dying around him, and it's really entertaining. It's it's a Capcom game, and it's got a lot of that like Ace Attorney kind of vibes to it in the storytelling, which is another thing I really love about it. But yeah, it's a very enjoyable game. I highly recommend anyone that's looking for like a fun game to give it a try. It's all puzzles essentially when it's not in the story part, but it's just really entertaining. You get to like you go through and you see which item does what, and then you do that, and there's like some timing puzzles as well to stop people from being shot and stuff. It's just very entertaining.
It definitely does not seem like a Joel game. I'll say that
Yeah,
just because like the
didn't
Ace
think so.
Attorney kind of games don't really appeal to me that much.
Hmm.
So the art style looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
was the OG one? What was the OG one on?
BS.
Okay, cool. So it's
Yeah,
kind of like the same era as Ace Attorney, right? That was a DS game originally, wasn't it?
mostly it actually started on Game Boy Advance, but DS was where it really took off. So yeah, I recommend it. I've been playing one chapter a night. I think there's like 12, maybe even more chapters. So I do like one a night, which is like a half hour, 45 minutes to do. What you've
Cool.
been playing?
Sorry, I'm looking up. So as we talk about these games, I usually try and pull up videos,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've been playing Pokemon Unite like a lot the last week. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like an unforgivable amount. I don't know why. I
Really?
just saw it on my Switch and I was like, "You know what? Let's play a match. Like let's check it out. See if it's still good." And like it's still a really good game fundamentally,
Mm-hmm.
but like every time I launch the game, there's just like 5 to 7 pop-ups that come up like, "Oh, this event's going on. Oh, that event's
Uh,
going on. Oh, did you know that you could use this currency for this?" And then like I don't understand the currency thing. There's one thing that's like it looks like a rainbow star thing. That's the currency that I know is like the one you have to pay for. So it's like get 1,000 or whatever it is for $10. But then there's like a ticket system, there's like a lottery ball system. It's like there's just too much shit going on to where it's like, all right, I'm not touching any of this. Unless the only thing I go to is like if I go back to the main menu after a game and the main menu has like a little orange dot on it, that means there's something new in there for me to like claim or unlock. But half the time when I'm claiming that shit, it's just like, here's more of this one currency, like tickets. And it's like in my head, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to use this on. I just like playing ranked matches. So I just play a bunch of ranked matches. I play Venusaur because that's what I used to play. Um, and I'm having a good time. Like I'm pretty high rank. Um, I don't know what that rank is because I don't know the
mhm.
ranking system. Let me look it up real quick. I
You,
looked it up
so
the other
you
day.
you could be at the bottom, but you think it's a really high rank.
No, I'm pretty sure because I looked it up the other day.
Gotcha.
So
It's been a very long time since I played that game. I enjoyed it. I really did when back when we originally were playing it.
so the ranking system is beginner, great, expert, veteran, ultra, and master. And master, I think, is like the top 50 players in the world or something. And right
Mhm.
now I'm at veteran. So it's like I'm getting up there. And
Nice.
ultra, I think, is like the top 1,500 players in the world. So it's like if I keep grinding, I could hang my
Right.
hat on the fact that I was a top 1,500 player in Pokemon Ultra or
This
Pokemon
is your
Unite.
life. Pokemon Unite is now your life. I think I saw something that Mewtwo's coming to the game soon. So that's
Mewtwo's in
cool.
the game now. I think
Oh,
it.
nice.
So I don't know if like their marketing had something to do with why I played. I don't remember seeing an ad or anything. But when I launched it, it's like, oh, it's the 2 year anniversary of this game. I'm like, this game's
Wow.
been out for 2 fucking years.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess, now that I think of it. Has been a while since I played.
But yeah, I'm liking it a lot. I'm gonna keep playing it. Been playing it on the Switch. I did realize that it came out on mobile too, and I
Yeah.
could play it on that if I was ever like out and about and had nothing to do.
Fuck mobile gaming. You know what I'm saying, Joel? Fuck it.
Hey, I could probably set up my Razer Kishi on it and have a good old time.
Yeah, fuck it. Uh, other game I've been playing. I've been playing MLB The Show 23 again. I've been playing a lot of Diamond Dynasty with my friend. We've been doing a ton of co-op games,
Nice.
and yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. It's been very hit or miss for us because neither of us are really good at the game. Like we have moments where we'll just destroy a bad team. There was one team we faced last night that was just doing the stupidest shit ever, like throwing the ball behind runners and throwing to the wrong bag, errors, swinging at pitches way out of the zone and all that. But there's one particular pitcher who is available in the game right now. It's a Negro Leagues player. I think his name is John Donaldson. He's a lefty, and his rating is 99. And he has like a 103 mile per hour fastball, an 80 mile per hour changeup, a slider that goes all the way across the zone. It's absolutely ridiculous. We faced off against him a couple times and just unable to touch him. But regardless, we've been having fun. I got Jim Edmonds on there, who I'm a big Cardinal fan, so I was happy to get Jim Edmonds. He got my friend got a Mike Trout, so we're feeling better about us right now. Although we still have moments where we're just god awful. But yeah, I'm. This is by far the most time I've put in the Diamond Dynasty. For the most part, I've always just played franchise in the past, but now that there's the cooperative mode and my friends playing, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do this. It's a good way to waste some time. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing pretty much outside of Ghost Trick and Overwatch. I haven't really played much lately.
Can you do 3-player Diamond Dynasty co-op?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go. I'm downloading it because
All right.
I have a lot of good players and I love playing that game. And
Mhm.
the reason I stopped is just because I got burnt out from playing last year's game so much because it was the first one on Xbox Series X. Last year's, not this year's.
No, third. Right. Yeah, no, this
No,
is the third. Last year's was the second.
you sure?
Yeah, because this year's Jez Chisholm. Last year was Shohei Otani. The year before that was Fernando Tatis Jr.
Oh yeah, you're right, you're right. But yeah, I just got so burnt out on the game playing so much of it to where
I get it.
I stopped pretty early on. But I love playing co-op, and that would be a really fun game co-op.
I am legitimately surprised co-op is as fun as it is. That there's still issues with server issues, server problems every now and then. Like there's times where you're playing and everyone will just stop moving. Like last night, uh,
It just
we were playing
freezes.
kind of so like it doesn't exactly freeze because like people are like still moving around, but it doesn't transition to the next batter or anything. Like you'll hit a foul ball, the ball will go into the stands, and the camera will just stay there for like a good 3 minutes, which is an eternity when you're just waiting for the game to move. And then there was a moment last night where I hit a double, so I'm on second, and my friend hit a ground ball, a really weak ground ball. It just slowly uh, went towards the second baseman, but no fielder moved, and the ball was just sitting there for like 2 minutes. So I just ran home and got a free run because the other guys just weren't moving at all. It was a really weird thing. So that's the biggest hope for me is that the server issues are taken care of with the next year's game. I'm so happy that MLB The Show is on Xbox now and it's
Yeah,
making all these jumps to other places, but they've got to figure out their online game because it's just there's moments where it's just plain out bad, but still a good game.
yeah. I mean, that's always been MLB The Show online. Is that sometimes it's just bad because connection issues, and in co-op, I imagine it's just even worse because there's more variables, right? 4 people as
Hmm.
opposed to two. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I'll definitely download that game and
All
play
right,
it with you guys.
cool.
Um, I've been playing more Final Fantasy 16. It's a good game. I like it a lot. Um,
How much more can we really talk about it? Like,
I know. I'm excited to like. I'll probably stop talking. All I'm gonna say is that I've played it pretty much every week until I
how
beat
many
it.
hours have you put into it right now? Just take
I
a
think I,
guess.
I think I'm about 30 because you can see it on your home screen of your PlayStation.
Hmm.
It'll tell you how many hours you've played and what percentage through the game you are of the main story.
So you're getting
And I
close to the end.
no, I'm 30 hours in. I've done everything in this game I can so far, Joan. I'm 30
Okay, so
hours
you're
in,
doing all the side content and
and
everything.
and I'm like 63% through the main story.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing every side quest I
If you
can.
were mainlining it, you would be near the end.
I've done all the hunts and stuff in the game, so yeah, I'm just loving it. The combat's awesome. Um, yeah, I'm excited to beat it, and because the story is so good. I love the story in this game so much. Um, it's definitely going to be my running for game of the year, just because I love it so much.
Good.
Yeah. Other than that, I just looked it up. Final Fantasy 14 is half off, so I might pick that up for PC. But yeah. Anyway, that is gonna do it for episode 238 of the Pixel Street podcast. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out our pin tweet there for all of our social links, including an invite to our Discord server. Come say what's up. I'll send you pictures of my 3D print. Um, yeah, what else? Oh yeah, subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Pixel Street Videos, where we post all of our podcasts, let's plays, unboxings, you name it. We are over there. Anything else, John? Oh, wherever you're
No.
watching, listening to the show, please give us a review. We appreciate it, good or bad. Any feedback is good feedback in our minds, so we would appreciate it. If you have any topics you want us to talk about, tweet at us, post it in the Discord, let us know. We're always looking for new stuff to talk about. As always, I'm Joel. You can find me on Twitter at Campo63 or twitch.tv/Campo63. John, where are you at on the interwebs?
On Twitter, I am at Revix Shadows, and you can find my writing on GameSandwich.com.
Cool. We will be right back here next week with episode 239 of the Pixel Street Podcast.
Bye.